Not just one. Miami Hurricanes are going to have 2 defensive tackles visiting next week.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I mean, you tell me, is moving from East Lansing, Michigan to Coral Gables, is that an upgrade? We'll talk about it. I am Alex Donno, University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, also co-host of Locked On ACC. Thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today. We're free wherever you get your podcasts. We're free on YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. So, my friends, we talked on yesterday's episode about Simeon Barrow, who is going to take a Miami official visit this coming week. That's standout defensive tackle out of Michigan State. Yes, we're still definitely watching out for LSU. LSU has been trending strongly in his recruitment. Barrow's going to be on campus on Monday, but not just Simeon Barrow. His Michigan State teammate, fellow defensive tackle, Derrick Harmon, is also going to be at Miami. They're going to be together on campus this coming week. I don't think anybody loves defensive tackles more than our guest today, truth teller Bruce Warner. And Bruce, you were on death's door earlier this week. I'm so glad you're feeling better so we can do a Truth Teller Tuesday on a Thursday. How are you?
Well, I was on a gurney on Tuesday because I was in the hospital. And as it turns out, I still have pneumonia. So I'm on all these breathing treatments and I'm feeling a little better. But I want to thank you for telling everybody. You didn't tell everybody I was on death's doorstep, but I appreciate the comments, people wishing me well. And, you know, I said to the doctor, listen, I'm the truth teller. I got to get better. I got to do this show. So here I am. And I'm still not feeling great, but I'm just thrilled that I'm here doing it with you. But anyway, yeah, D tackles. I'm not too sure about Barrow, but I like the other kid. I like Harmon.
Are you not too sure that you like Barrow, or you're not too sure that Miami can actually get him?
He's going to wind up at LSU. I hope not, because I know they're throwing everything at this kid. But can you imagine if we got both of them? Wow.
I think that's what Miami's pitching, though. I think Miami, Bruce, is pitching the idea that, you know, these guys, they started together. I think Barrow started every game. Harmon started 10 out of the 12 games last year. So these guys already have the on-the-field and off-the-field chemistry. I think Miami, and maybe LSU will do the same thing, but Miami is pitching the idea of you guys already have that relationship and that shorthand on the field. Come play together here.
Well, and you mentioned that he was at LSU and nothing happened. They wanted him to commit, and he didn't do it, Barrow. So now he's coming here with his friends, and you know how we are, and we've got something that they don't have, a Hall of Fame we're teaching these kids. So here's a shot. We also know it's a big weekend. Martinez is coming, and I believe he's going to be a Cane. And I think Brown could very well be a Cane. He's got a connection here. And then there's a few other guys coming in, which we've talked about off the air. I'm not sold on Hill as a corner. But I don't know what else is out there. I haven't been keeping track of it. Obviously, I was laying down for a couple of days. I mean, I was tubes and wires and blood and all kinds of crap. But because you knew last week when I was talking to you, I was almost passing out. I just didn't.
You sounded terrible.
But I thank everybody for making the comments that wished me well, because I appreciate that. As much of a jackass I can be to people that write these negative comments, I'm still a human being. So. Thanks, you guys. And I love doing this show with you. So everything seems to be working in their favor now towards what we need. You know, we need the tackle. We need a tackle for sure. We need a back. We need another wide receiver. We need another linebacker. And we definitely need at least one DB, maybe two or one in the safety.
Yeah, so let me talk a little bit more here about Derrick Harmon, just so Miami fans have an idea what kind of a player this is. And when you talk about those dimensions on Derrick Harmon from Michigan State, this is a Bruce Warner type of player. This is everything that Bruce likes out of a defensive tackle. 6'5", 325 pounds. Had a career high 40 tackles last year, 20 quarterback pressures, 3.5 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks on the year. His grade against the run, Bruce, was an excellent 81.1 per Pro Football Focus, which is a very, very good run stuffer. He's got 2 years of eligibility left. Simeon Barrow has 1 year of eligibility left. So these are, and by the way, I don't even know what's going on. Obviously, all the turmoil there at Michigan State and coaching changes, but I wonder what their team is going to look like on the defensive line with them losing all these guys. Miami obviously has lost some guys on the defensive line. Jared Harrison Hunt, I believe, is the one who would have had the most impact next year because he was going to play a lot. But Bruce, if Miami could get even one of these guys from Michigan State, I would consider that an upgrade.
Look, you asked me what Michigan State's going to look like. Here's my answer. Who cares? Who cares? I don't care about them. I don't. So, yeah, and the thing about the D tackles, it's not about, as you say, there's sacks, tackles for loss. What it really is that people that get that push, like Sapp and Russell and Cortez and Jerome, my buddy Mark Caesar, it frees up the ends to get around, and they occupy that middle. And it frees up the linebackers. That's the purpose of the D tackles, not to sack the quarterback so much. There's exceptions, but that's what you want. And if you've looked at our defensive line, with a couple of exceptions here and there, the last dozen years, you look at the line of scrimmage and all you see is this. You don't see this. You don't see them knocking them on their ass. You don't see their quarterback in less than 2 seconds running for his life. That's what we used to be like. It's not that anymore. That's why those big dudes are important. Not 6'4", 280 pounds. That's not good enough. It's not big enough, and it's not strong enough. And at the point of attack, we've been getting our butts kicked in against teams that are not even that good, but execute well, like the Virginias and Georgia Techs. We should destroy these teams already. So, yeah, we need. If we can't get both, we've got to get one. We have to.
Yeah, we talk a lot off air, but we were talking before the show, and you were mentioning to me that you do have some overall concerns about Miami's defense. I think when it comes to the offense, especially if Miami can land Damien Martinez this weekend, who we're going to be talking about later on this episode, but you certainly, and this is even based on the way things played out in spring football. The offense looked very good. The defense looked very good at times, but you have more concerns on that defensive side of the football right now.
Yeah, let me just explain it, because it goes back to some of the guests we've had. Even an offense like Leon Searcy. What did Leon tell us? We were talking about last year's offensive line being relatively new. What's the cohesiveness of our defense when out of the 11 guys, only a handful this year have played together before? Not that many of them. So that's important to me. You need to have the cohesiveness. You got to know where this guy's going to be and the trust factor. And you don't want guys just taking on and just going out there like the Lone Ranger and going out of their zones or out of their lanes and out of their coverage. That's what scares me. It's not that we don't have talent. We haven't played together. There's no cohesive unit. So that's part of it. If we get some of these guys and we can get that pass rush going and stop the run, the rest of those 7 in the back will play better as a result. Even if they have to cover somebody for a split second less, it's going to help us.
We have a lot we're going to get to on this episode. I want to talk about this weird propaganda style smear campaign against Mario Cristobal that's happening by some Florida State news outlets. And you guys know, you watch the show all the time, the everydayers out there, that I spend 99% of my time and our time talking about Miami. There's this weird culture of people who cover Florida State where all they do is whine about things, and they whine about Miami and Florida. They spend more time talking about their rivals than they do talking about their own team. And their team is very good. So it's a very odd thing that they do up there. But I want to talk about the visits coming up this weekend and where Miami stands with their top targets. We got the truth teller with us here on what I guess we can call today a Truth Teller Wednesday, right here on a brand new episode of Locked on Canes. Keep it locked. And I already know you're keeping it locked to Monopoly Go. I've been told I'm a competitive person. Yes, I have a competitive side. We all do. My competitive side is a big fan of Monopoly Go. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been downloaded over 150 million times. It's a great twist on Monopoly where you play on not one, but hundreds of Monopoly boards in crazy locations, building up amazing cities that bring you big money. The best part, though, is messing with my friends. I can charge them rent on my iconic properties, just like classic Monopoly. Now I can also heist their vaults of riches for myself, and the leaderboards show me who the biggest Monopoly tycoon is. But it's not just my competitive side that loves it. You can team up with friends and people all around the world in timed tournaments to earn huge rewards. So get in the game and join your friends. Download Monopoly Go, now free on the App Store or Google Play. We are also brought to you by Game Time. This is the only ticket app that I use, and for good reason. The Game Time app, great deals, especially last-minute ticket deals. I'm a procrastinator, and my procrastination actually gets rewarded on the Game Time app. Guys, Game Time is now an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch, with killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. You will not believe the deals you can find on Marlins tickets, on Heat and Florida Panthers playoff tickets, concerts, comedy shows. It's all there at Game Time. And guys, a couple of things I love about this app: the all-in pricing. They don't slap on those hidden fees at the end. There's no bait and switch, none of that nonsense at Game Time. I love how you get panoramic views from your seat, so you know exactly where you're going to be and what you're going to be looking at. And yes, folks, the Game Time guarantee means you're always getting the best possible price. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Thank you so much for making this episode of Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We got the truth teller with us, Bruce Warner. So, Bruce, another one, you talked about another one of the four visitors who's going to be in town this weekend. It's not just Damien Martinez. Sam Brown, wide receiver from Houston, 815 receiving yards this past season. Very good player. He's got the history with Shannon Dawson. I know that there's obviously optimism on the Miami side. There seems to be optimism among national media that Miami could be the front runner for this player. But I want people to know Texas A&M also seems to be trying very hard for Sam Brown, who's, an area guy playing in Houston. Texas is a big state. I don't know how far Houston is from College Station, but it's a Texas thing over there. So Texas A&M, I think there's also maybe some optimism from their side as well. And he's been visiting Texas A&M this week. So hopefully, Bruce, from a Miami standpoint, the fact that Brown, he's already worked out with Cam Ward. That happened last week. He played for Shannon Dawson at Houston. He's coming in for a visit. Hopefully, whatever interest he has in Texas A&M, Miami can try to fight that off in a couple days.
Well, he has to decide Connor Wegman or Cam Ward. Take your pick. You got a possible Heisman Trophy candidate and a kid who was hurt last year. And I don't know how good A&M is going to be. You know what? I think they're going to take this kid, and I think he's going to want to come here. He's going to be a go-to target, take a lot of pressure off Restrepo, give Restrepo single coverage instead of a safety over the top, which some teams did last year. And then now when you factor in our tight ends look pretty damn good, hey, I think Miami has to get him. They don't have to. I don't want to say that because I know a lot of the comments have been, we don't need another wide receiver. Yeah. You don't. But this kid's that good. You want him. You want Martinez. Then you got to get a corner, a safety, and a D tackle. I think Miami is going to be fine. And I think offensively, if they get these two guys, I think they're fine.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about what you said, because like wide receiver, it's obviously a position that they are pursuing. But like for me, like the priority list, I know some people don't want to believe it, but running back is obviously, it's a big priority, especially with, the uncertainty around when Fletcher's going to be ready to play again. Running back is a big priority, not to mention, Bruce, Damien Martinez is such a good player that even if you didn't have a major need at running back, Martinez is so probably a top 3, if not top 5, maybe worst case scenario running back in the entire country. Like this guy is like a throwback to an era of, bruising featured backs. And he's also got the breakaway speed to go along with his strength at 232 pounds, his ability to break tackles. Like Damien Martinez is such a special player that even if you didn't have a big need at running back, this is a guy you would look at if you have an opportunity to do so. So that's a huge priority. I would.
Does he have 1 year or 2 years left?
I think he's got 1 year left.
All right. So here's the thing about him. This is an insurance policy. If they really don't think that Fletcher,
no, actually, sorry, he's got 2 years left. Actually,
he had 2 years.
2 years. 2 years.
So you know what? They could actually, if they don't have to play Fletcher, if he's borderline, they could shirt him if they wanted to. He can get in a couple of games, but you don't want him to get re-injured.
Right, because he can play in 4 games and keep the red shirt.
But if I wouldn't play him at all if he's not feeling great, if the foot is still suspect. But you have A.J. Allen, and we know what Lyle's coming in, and you saw what Chris Johnson can do. So and then I think you're okay. I just do. And the same thing with the receivers. We saw Shamar Kirk really look great a week ago in a practice. He looked real good. And then you've got Nye Carr, you've got Chance Robinson coming, he'll redshirt. You got JoJo, you got Ray. There's enough talent out there, but you don't have to force the young kids to play. If we can get Brown and we get Martinez, I think we're okay. Maybe another offensive lineman, which is what you and Bluestein talked about yesterday.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know what's going on there because a lot of us agree that, especially knowing Mario and Mirabal love getting the best possible offensive lineman. It's an obsession for Cristobal being an offensive line guy. So it looked like for a while that Miami was really in it for Jason Zandamela, who could be a center or guard, but he's been trending away I think he might actually end up at Florida. He's been trending away from Miami for whatever reason for the past several days. Mm-hmm. So if Miami does want to take an O lineman, I'm not sure who that would be. Something else, Bruce, people have to remember, since we cover this portal every single day, and people who are everydayers on Locked On Canes, it's like it feels like the portal's been open for a month. The portal's been open for a week and a half, and players can keep entering until April 30th. So you've got about 5 more days. So there could still be players, and some spring games haven't even happened yet, who have not made up their minds to enter the portal. And something everyone has to remember is the April 30th deadline. That's not the deadline to sign players. That's the deadline for players to enter the portal. So you could have a player who enters the portal on April 30th, and that doesn't mean you have to sign them by the end of the day. You've got, all the time in the world to actually bring that player on campus. Like, Keon Coleman at Florida State last year, I think he signed in mid-May with FSU. I think one of the safeties, Miami guy, I think maybe Jadis Richard or the corner might have been a guy that we got in mid-May last year. So it's not, that's not a deadline to bring players in. That's the deadline for players to hit the portal.
Now, where are we now? Are we one under? Are we at 84?
We're at 84 right now.
All right, so I still think a few more guys are going to leave.
They have to, because we need more than one spot.
Right. I think at least 4 or 5 may leave.
Yeah.
Maybe an offensive lineman or two. Definitely a couple of DBs will be gone. I don't know about the wide receivers. I don't know how long Redding's going to want to be here, but
that's an interesting case because, like, I saw, he's not a guy that we talk about is probably going to play that much this year, but he played well in some of the practices that we watched, Bruce. And also, like, he just made Iron Arrow, which is one of, like, the highest academic athletic honors you can land. So it's like, it's kind of weird. Like, a guy becomes Iron Arrow, like you don't really want to force that guy off it's a weird thing. But I would love to see Redding step up and make some big plays this year if he's still on the team.
Yeah, I listen, I like him too, but again, if we only get 4 guys, we only need 3 more to leave because we're 1 under.
Right.
And I don't think that's going to affect him if there's enough DBs that have to go and a couple of offensive linemen who just aren't going to get it done here. But we have a lot of young talent. The defensive line talent, all those kids coming in, most of them are going to redshirt. But I see, like Lightfoot, he's a little undersized. You mentioned that.
Yeah. He
probably has to sit out. But they have enough guys that are in there. What?
I don't know. I don't know if he has to sit out because he's still a little light, but he's already put on 17 pounds, and that was as of 2 weeks ago. I don't know how much weight he's going to put on by now. I think that kid is so talented. He might burn the red shirt. I don't know.
All right. Well, we saw that other defensive end that they were working with. What's his name? McConaughey.
Cole. Oh, that dude's ready to play. He's like
right.
245 pounds.
Yeah. Freshman. Yes.
That dude's ready.
Yeah. We were sitting, you and I were there with Ogeron, and we were watching them work with Jason was working with this kid, working on the moves and do this and don't do that. And they were really intense on him. And Ogeron, who should know something about defense, kind of like he was smiling. Bruce, Alex, I like this kid. Yeah. Anyway, let's do the Florida State thing. That sounds pretty cool.
Let's get into that. So,
I don't know why they do that. They're a bunch of, I don't really love them, but I root for them against Florida. To me, we're a national team. We're a brand.
Yeah.
Florida State is pretty much up there. As far as I'm concerned, the Gators are like a Florida team, and that's it. Nobody gives a damn about them anywhere else but in the middle of Florida. But Florida State, they have a national reputation. Why are those guys like that?
Well, there's this weird thing that they're doing now up there where they used to make fun of Miami because Portal Mike Norvell would just kick our butts in the transfer portal. Now that Miami seems to be stepping it up in the transfer portal, now it's like, you can't develop your own player. There's this weird smear campaign. I need to get the facts straight because some of their facts, unsurprisingly, are completely off. You want to keep it locked right here. Alex Donno and Bruce Warner with you on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. Oh, my friends, I know you are all keeping it locked to FanDuel. This has been my spot with these playoffs heating up in various sports. Guys, postseason going on in the NHL and NBA. Baseball's in full swing. FanDuel is your place to bet on every game. If you guys had Miami Heat on the money line yesterday, you're swimming in money like Uncle Scrooge right now. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all on an app that's safe, secure, and easy to use. What are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Thank you so much for making this Thursday episode of Locked On Canes your first listen and your first watch today. To the everydayers, if you want to take that everydayer experience to the next level, become a Locked On Canes insider. Click the link in the show description below. You get text messages directly from my phone to yours and vice versa with transfer portal scoops, breaking news, all sorts of Miami Hurricanes content coming directly from me. Sign up, click that link below. Then if you like it, you can opt in for $4.99 a month. Try it free for 14 days, though. If you like it, after 2 weeks, you can opt in for $4.99 a month. We give you a lot of added value on there on Locked On Canes Insiders. Got the truth teller with us. And so, all right, Bruce, I was reading something this morning from the Nolecast, wrote an X post today that says about 15 of 22 Miami starters will be transfers. That's mind-blowing when you put that much time, money, etc. into high school recruiting, plus all the negative recruiting of others for using the portal. Isn't signing top high school talent Mario's signature? Wild times, they write. Now, before I get into their count,
go ahead. Tell you who the 15 people are.
Well, I want to get into that.
Yeah, because we haven't signed any of these portal guys yet. So our running back.
Well, now, I think they're also including guys who have previously come in through the portal. Like,
I don't care about that.
Yeah,
but 22.
Well, look, I'll get to that in a second because I don't know who math is not the strong suit of Florida State people, apparently. I don't know what kind of classes they have up there. But first of all, when they talk about isn't high school recruiting Mario's signature, so first of all, Bruce, they're conveniently ignoring the fact that the players that Mario Cristobal actually recruited out of high school are mostly true freshmen, true sophomores, or redshirt freshmen right now. So, you expect all 22 of Miami's starters to be first and second year guys? Like, it's, especially in today's college football, that's not a realistic proposition. Plus, let's talk about that number. They say 15 of Miami's 22 starters are going to be transfer guys. I'll go through and listen. Some of these guys are maybes, right? Some of these guys maybe will start, maybe they won't. I'll give you I'll tell you who's a maybe and who's a definite. Xavier Restrepo and Jacoby George they're definite starters at receiver, and those guys were both recruited, not transfers. Isaiah Horton is a maybe or a probably right now, depending on the Sam Browns. And even if Sam Brown were to come in, it's not a slam dunk he starts.
Time out. I'm asking. I'm a lawyer and I'm playing judge. You don't have any of those transfer wide. Brown's not here, and neither is Martinez. So you got to use Horton. Don't play their game. So none of the wide receivers are transfers. Move on.
Yeah, but hold on. Okay, I don't know about the. It's a very good chance Damien Martinez is in, so I'm going to count him. I'm going to count Martinez.
But it's not my point. The guy wrote it yesterday, and they're not here as of yesterday.
Okay, true.
So maybe if he's doing this anticipation stuff, maybe not. But he can't be doing that now. He's predicting he's going to leave.
Yeah. Elijah Arroyo probably going to start at tight end. If he doesn't, Riley Williams will. Neither of those guys are transfers. Right. Okay. 4 out of the 5 offensive lineman starters are not transfers. Okay. The center, Zach Carpenter, is the only transfer on that line. Right. So already 7, 8, or 9 just on offense. Okay. On defense, there's probably going to be more transfers on defense.
Cam Ward, so you got to give him Cam as
well. No, you got to give him Cam Ward. Sure. I'm counting the guys who are not transfers, Bruce.
And as of now, Fletcher's the running back, because no one's saying he's not going to start. So you got 2 on offense. Where's the other 13 on defense? There aren't 13 players on defense.
Right. So Ruben Bain's going to start, not a transfer.
I'm telling you how stupid they are.
Yeah. Ruben Bain, not a transfer. Wesley Basaint's going to start, not a transfer. Jaden Harris, probably a starter at safety. Damari Brown could be a starter in the defensive backfield. There probably are, more guys on defense where Kiko's a transfer. Right. Some of these defensive lineman starters are transfers, but like Bruce, you're looking at 12, 13, 14 who are not transfers who are going to start next year. How many guys start? 37 starters on a foot. Is that their math? They think 37 guys start?
It's just dumb, but I think they're scared. I think they're worrying about Mario and what he's doing. So they make up crap like this. I mean, did you talk about all the transfers Florida State had last couple of years?
Portal Mike.
That's their team. And this is, I talked to you off the year before. The nature of football now, the transfer portal is now like making a trade. Although you're not technically making a trade, you're trading out players for other players, even though it's not 1-for-1. But that's kind of what it is. It's kind of like the ability to make trades at trade deadlines. They give you these periods of time where you could do it. Okay, so it's not all about recruiting anymore. It's about recruiting, development, the portal, and making changes to your roster on the fly almost. Right. And so that's what it's become. So it's kind of stupid to make these comments because everybody's got transfers. Everybody's doing it except for Dabo.
And also, like when they're talking about I thought high school players was Mario's signature. Okay, so you look at like last season, that was when Mario's first full recruiting class were true freshmen last year. Mm-hmm. Miami had the second most snaps in the entire country played by true freshman players. Correct. Second most in the country, right? You had Ruben Bain, regular starter. CeCe Maui-Noah, regular starter. Mark Fletcher became a regular starter by the end of the year. Like only one team in the entire country had more true freshman snaps than Miami. So, these Florida State guys who, again, they're running these Vladimir Putin style campaigns on social media. They talk more about Miami and Florida than they do about their own team.
Well, you know what? We're talking about it. Maybe that's what they want. So
that is what they want. How dare we?
Now they're going to have some of their fools up there, up in Trailer House, talking about, hey, these guys down in Miami, they were making fun of what we said. Let's just get their asses on the field and kick it once and for all. But
maybe we can start a podcast war with these guys.
Why? Why give them any airtime? Who cares? And the same with the Gators. What is it, like another 5 months when we get to beat their brains in finally?
I can't wait.
I'm more worried about us. I don't care about anybody else.
Are you going to that game in Gainesville? I'm going to be there. I want you to come.
Mark invited me. I'm not sure if I'm going, but probably. Okay. I think he also said, I don't know if it's that weekend or Colorado's playing UCF in Orlando.
Ooh.
And Sap's coming in, and we're supposed to all be together. I know he said he's going to have me and him and Dion and Sap.
Well, as long as that's not on the same day, I'll go to both. I'd love to go to that game.
I don't know if it's the same day, but
I'm going to cheer for UCF though in that game. I hope they know.
Oh, of course. Anyway, so what do you think? We have a minute. What do you think is going to happen? Are we getting Brown and we're getting Martinez this weekend? Yes or no?
I'll put in a Donno ball for Martinez, for Damien Martinez. I'll put in a Donno ball for Brown as well. And I'll put, you know what? I think they might go 4 for 4 this week. And this doesn't include the defensive linemen. They're not coming till Monday. I think they might go 4 for 4 with Martinez, Brown, Alderman, the Louisville linebacker, and Dyoni Hill from Marshall. I think they'll go 4 for 4.
All right. Well, you might be right, but I don't necessarily want him. Although I'm no cornerbacks expert, but I'm not sure.
Well, the thing is, like, this is one of those things where if the guy who was his defensive backs coach for the last 2 years and the guy that was his defensive coordinator 2 years ago, if they want him, who am I to say don't get him?
Yeah. Who are you? You're Alex Donno, man.
Am I going to go up to Chevis Jackson? Like, Chevis, I know you coached this guy for the last 2 years. I'm telling you, I don't think he should come here. Like, if they want him, I'll default to them.
All right. Anyway, thank everybody for your well wishes. I really appreciate it. I guess I'm a cynical guy. Sometimes I'm negative, but I really care about the Canes. You all know it. And I care about Alex. And so
get back on that. What are you on? The what do they call that? A breathalyzer? What is that?
A nebulizer.
The nebulizer.
And an antibiotic to get rid of the damn. It's in my right lung. So
yeah.
I don't know. So
I know what you're going through. I had walking pneumonia about 11 years ago, and I will never forget how terrible I felt.
Yeah, I had it as a sophomore in high school. I had to sit out the entire basketball season. I was ready to. I was heartbroken. And I started as a freshman. I had to sit out the whole sophomore year because of the stupid thing. But back then, it was 1968. I was a kid,
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's go, Canes. Let's lock up these guys. Okay, let's do it.
We love the truth teller. We'll talk to everyone next time on another episode of Locked On Canes, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.